Hello friends, today we're going to do a deep dive into for loops. So here I've just commented, this is just a comment here, so this is unimportant. It's just for the make it more explicit what we're doing. So here's how you write a for loop. First you start with for, and then within parentheses you declare a variable. So we say let index equal to 0. So first off, we're starting with a variable where we save a number of index and we set that to equal to 0. And then we create a conditional. So while the index is less than 3, if it's less than or equal to 3, we're continuing to do it. And then we also need to create a rule in which we increment index. So index, we set the index equal to the index plus 1. And then we start a new line. In here, I have my terminal. If you look, I'm in the loops.js is the file I'm editing here. And so I'm in a folder with just a loops.js file. And so what we can do here, I'm just going to console.log the index value. And then I'm just going to put a little signal here. This is the index value. Okay. Another thing I want to do for the purposes of illustrating this, I'm going to console.log before we do this, and I'm going to say start of loop. And then at the end, I'm going to have one that says the end of loop. And this is going to make it so that we can see exactly what's going on. Now, in order to run this, I'm going to use node. So I can go node and just go loops.js. And you'll see. We do the start of the loop, and then we say this is the index value at 0, and then 1, then 2, and then 3. And then this is the end of the loop. So what happens here? Initially, we start off with an index of 0, and because it's less than or equal to 3, we continue with the code. So index at 0, we get this value. Well, first off, we start with the start loop. But then the next thing that happens is we console log the index value. So this guy, the index becomes equal to 0. And so at the end of the loop, we go and do the loop process. And this is just a process you're going to want to memorize. First off, we say index plus is equal to index plus 1. So because the index is originally 0, we say 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So the index becomes equal to 1. 1 is less than or equal to 3. Because this is true, we move on. And we go to line 6, in which we console log 1. And then once that's console logged, we move on. And then we're at the end of the loop statement, and we look again. So our next one, we say the index, which is equal to 1, plus 1 is equal to 2. So our new index is set to a value of 2. Because 2 is less than or equal to 3, because that is true, we come on down to here, and we console log the 2. And then we're at the end of the statement. So once we're at the end of the statement, we come back up here. The index, which is currently 2, we set the index equal to 2 plus 1, which is 3. So because the index is 3, and that is less than or equal to 3, then we do it again. We print out the index, which is 3 now, and then we get to the end of the for loop. Finally, we come back up to the top, and then we say 3, we call the index is equal to 3 plus 1. And that makes 4. So because the index is not less than, because 4 is not less than or equal to 3, we drop out of the for loop and we do not increment one more time. We do not say index is equal to 4. We just do 3. And so then the program moves down, further down the line, and we get to the end of the loop. And so the end of the loop prints out like this. And so that's how a for loop works in its most simplistic, counting from 0 to 3.